Retreat, advance, or stay stationary. You know, I've sort of talked about this before, but I want to talk about it again, mostly because not too many people seem to get it. Churches have always had retreats. And then somebody came up with the bright idea that we shouldn't call them retreats, we should call them advances. And, you know, I poked fun at the semantics there. Either word works. You know, it doesn't matter really. And frankly, it doesn't matter because we don't do either one. You know, you watch a soccer game and sometimes they kick the ball backwards so that they can reposition and attack going forward from another angle, another side. Retreating, I've talked about it before. Armies sometimes retreat to entrap their opponents or to regroup or to attack from another direction, like in soccer. That's good. Retreat isn't a bad thing. I've covered that. Advance, you know, that's nice. My real problem is most church groups, they say retreat or advance and they don't really do either. They're really standing stationary. And here's what I mean. And I'm going to pick on men's groups because, you know, a wise man once said, as the men go, so goes the church. And women's lib included, it's still pretty true. Statistics tell us that if the mother goes to church and takes the kids with, and the kids may or may not grow up going to church. If dad goes to church and takes the kids with, and mom goes, then the kids tend to go to church. Statistics are better if dad goes and mom doesn't than if mom goes and dad doesn't. As the men go, so goes the church. So I'm going to talk to men's groups. Most men's groups are made up of a small percentage of the men in the church. You know, and Jesus told us to go into all the world and teach the good news. Well, if we can't even get our own men to come out to men's groups or to retreats or advances or whatever, how good are we going to be at getting other people to come to church? And the answer is not very good. It was a rhetorical question. I think we all recognize that. And I know the excuse is, well, there's a lot of our men have to work. I've heard that from more than one pastor or men's leader. Yeah, I understand that. Not that many, though. Most men's groups meet on Saturdays, or they meet early morning for breakfast at maybe a restaurant before going to work. Or maybe at their church. Our next door neighbor, their men's group meets at the church at, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock on Friday mornings. Big church, not many men show up. It's too early. Yeah, lack of commitment is what it is. You know, evangelism isn't just for those outside the church. My motto has been seeking the lost and motivating the found. I guess I picked the wrong motto because seeking the lost, I usually go places nobody else goes, and I'm not very successful. Just a few most years. Dwindling now that my health is limiting, but just a few most years. Motivating the found is even harder. Christians don't like being motivated. They're uncomfortable. That's why I don't get too many views on YouTube. I understand that. Like Paul said to Timothy, in the latter days you're going to want somebody to tickle their ears. And I don't do that. You want your ears tickled? Go to church on Sunday. Your preacher will tell you, it's not your fault. You're okay. You're good people. God loves you. Yeah, probably all true. You know, preachers don't like to lie. Most of them. But what they leave out is so very important to me. and I believe it is important to God, and it should be important to all of us. And that's commitment. Going to church isn't what God's talking about. Going to the men's group on Saturday isn't what God's talking about. Going to Bible study or prayer meeting or something on Wednesday, that isn't what God's talking about. God's talking about 100% for Him. You know, like the old song says, all to Jesus I surrender, all to Him I freely give. And today, we don't sing that song. Why? Because we'd have to change the words. Some to Jesus I will share, some to Jesus I'll reluctantly give. And it's sad. You know, I've got quite a few friends that are willing to take out of their lives to help others, not just to help me. Talked about this on Facebook this week. I don't share about friends helping me because, or us, our family, because it's important to say I have the best friends. I do it because I want others to start doing that for others. If you don't want to help me, fine, don't. I don't care. Sometimes I feel like Elijah sitting in a cave being fed by ravens. I mean, God takes care of us. My family's used to this. We've done this all our lives. We've given to others, others have given to us. It's the way it works. The way it works best. When they had community barn raisins in the old days. Well, we don't have to do that today because we have the technology to build it. Which one's cheaper? When the whole community gets together and gathers all the wood and everything and puts it up, even using some modern equipment, or when we pay somebody to come in and do it. Let me tell you, if you ain't figured it out yet, it's a whole lot cheaper when your friends help you. It's a whole lot cheaper. And if you think you need help, feel free to ask. I have people ask me for help every week. Sometimes I post it on Facebook because I don't have somebody right handy that's willing to help. You want help? Volunteer to help others. Volunteer to help others. And people will flock in to help you when the time comes. Now you got to pick right people. And I'm not saying the good people. I'm saying the right people. You know, rich people aren't the ones to help. They don't need your help. Don't be going around trying to help the rich people. You find somebody that's poor and help them, but pick somebody that's poor and not begging for handouts and not saying, oh, poor me. Pick somebody that's poor and is trying to do their best, and maybe they haven't even asked for help, and you come in and help them. If a men's group would do that, would help each other, now you're talking about a men's group that's going to grow. Now you're going to have your precious advance. But changing the name of a retreat to an advance doesn't mean a thing. Because most men's groups are stationary. There are multiple men's groups in this town that I've been to and visited. And I've been here in this town for 14 years now. Almost. And most of those men's groups are the same size, plus or minus 10%. Today, as they were when I first met them 8, 10, 12 years ago. Of course, most of those churches are the same size today as they were 8, 10, 12 years ago. If you want your church, if you want your men's group, if you want your ladies group, if you want your youth group to make a difference in the world and to see it grow, then you need to be doing for others. Jesus said, do unto others as you would have them do unto yourself. He didn't say, do unto others so they'll do to you. He didn't say, do unto others to manipulate them. He didn't say, do unto others if they can do for you. He didn't say, do unto others because they can pay you back. He said, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Jesus said, go into all the world and preach the good news, teaching them to observe whatever I've commanded you. What did he command us? To love one another. Yeah. You go back to Luke 6. He said, you got to love your enemy. Anyone can love his friend. You got to love your enemy. That's what Jesus taught. How do you love somebody? By helping them. Maybe finances, maybe physical help, maybe encouragement, maybe invite them to your house for a meal if you don't have enough money to take them out. If you got the money, take them out to a restaurant and pay for it. How do you think I got so many friends? You think it's because I'm a nice guy? I'm not a nice guy. You think it's because of my great beauty? I don't think so. I invest in others. I have invested in others for 4 decades. People, if you make a difference in their life, they will make a difference in the lives of others. I tell people, don't worry about getting me paid back. Help somebody else down the road. Called Pay It Forward. Not my invention, people. It's not even the invention of a movie. God invented that concept thousands of years ago. Retreat? Hey, that's great. Advance? Fine, wonderful. But stop sitting still. Doing the same old thing year after year. Having the same old men's group or women's group or youth group or same church. Stop being stationary. God loves us. He loves you too much. Because if you'll do it the way He says, you'll find true joy. I mean joy that'll take you through anything. He loves you. He does. And He loves everyone else. Let's love everyone in our lives.